So let's get started looking at those features that I mentioned. We have completely revamped the user interface, the UI. The goals there were really to make it more professional looking, to make it more configurable, and to make it easier and more enjoyable to use. So that's our goal, is to make it really more modern and up to date. But all of those, so we made a lot of changes, but in making those changes, we've taken great care to ensure that Leap is immediately recognizable and usable by its many existing users. So if you're already using Leap, I don't think you'll have any challenges in adapting to use the new version. And in fact, I think you should see that it's easier to use. So what things have we changed? The new UI includes updated icons. It includes support for the latest high resolution monitors, and it has better use of color, and it also supports both light and dark modes. So many people I know like to work in a dark mode. They find that more restful on their eyes. Apparently, it's also slightly more energy efficient to work in a dark mode as well. But there's also many other small improvements that we've made, and I'll just mention some of them and quickly show you, but I won't dwell on those. For example, there's new editing bookmarks to make it much easier to manage your work and to quickly hop between different places in Leap as you're working on it. There's improved editing and documentation capabilities. There's an expanded view bar, which highlights more of the analytical and results visualization abilities. There's a brand new online context-sensitive help system that's much easier to use than the old help system that has been updated to reflect all the recent changes in Leap. And there's other smaller things like improvements to energy balances and a new heat map feature that lets you quickly identify the most important numbers in your tables. So I'm just going to quickly show you some of those. Sylvia's going to keep an eye on me to tell me how I'm doing time-wise. So hopefully you can see my screen now. On the right, you can see the old version of Leap. On the left, you can see the new version of Leap. I hope your immediate reaction is to say, oh yeah, they look more or less the same. That's the goal, is that we haven't tried to make sort of radical changes. The layout of the screens is much the same, but we have updated the icons. And I think you'll just notice immediately how everything on the left is the text is much sharper. So it does support these high resolution screens, but the layout is more or less the same. Let me just very quickly show you some of the UI changes in the new version of Leap. So first of all, I'm running it here in a standard light blue mode, but we have introduced themes now, so you can very quickly have Leap running in different modes, and in particular, you can choose a dark mode if you want to. But there's a bunch of other themes that you can use as well. But it's also more configurable. The toolbar, this is using a large toolbar. Some people might want to just have a very small, compact toolbar. I mentioned that you can, when you're using the tree, you'll notice the tree looks more or less the same. We've got these new icons that help you identify the different fuels you're working on. But also if you want to move around the tree, so for example, if you're doing some editing of key assumptions and you're also working on maybe the household sector and you're working on the electricity generation sector, you can set bookmarks and then quickly hop between them. Let me show you how to do that. So you just click on the tree branch, you hit Control M to set a bookmark. You can see there's a little bookmark there. Maybe I want to set a bookmark here as well. And maybe I want to set a bookmark down here. And then if I hit Alt and M, I can just quickly hop between those different branches. Get that to work. This doesn't seem to be working for some reason. But here's those different bookmarks here, and we can just quickly hop between them by pressing those different keys or by hitting Alt M. That's bookmarks. We've also improved the documentation features in Leap. So here, you probably have used this all in the past, although I notice many people don't use the documentation features. A model is only as good as the documentation. Let me hop into the Freedonia model that already has some notes in it. So this is our old default Freedonia model. You can see here under notes, you can enter documentation. That's been greatly improved. We have a new toolbar that lets you edit the notes. It also has spelling check spell checking built into it. So if I put in a spelling mistake here, let's put in a small spelling mistake there, you can see it's got a little red squiggly line underneath it, and you can use the spelling checker to correct that. And it does have downloadable dictionaries for multiple languages, so you should be able to do spell check your model on lots of different languages. So that's some of the documentation features that have been improved. Let me just quickly show you the energy balance view. That's another area where we've made some improvements. So here I'm just looking at a standard energy balance for a particular year. This is a feature that's been in Leap for a long time, but now you can look at it with much more detail. So for example, I might want to look at it with level of detail, both in demand, but also a greater level of detail in the transformation sectors for energy supply. So that works much nicer than before. Let me just show you one other small new feature in the UI. Let's look at a table of results. So say you're looking at a very detailed table of results. Let me look at something like that. How do you pick out the most important numbers in that table of results? Well, now we have this new feature called heat maps that basically highlights the most important numbers. So you can see it very quickly points out that that's the biggest number. Just makes it much easier to get quick insights into your analysis. So those are just some of the sort of small changes to the UI.